Welcome to our channel. In today's episode of Who Died Today, we take a moment to remember and honor notable figures who have passed away recently. We'll provide a brief overview of their lives, careers, and contributions. Join us as we reflect on their legacies and the impact they made. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Richard Rogler. He was a German cabaret artist and professor of cabaret at the University of the Arts in Berlin. Rogler studied French and sport at the University of Würzburg. Beginning in 1986, Rogler worked as a solo artist, starting with his first program, Enduring Freedom. Further solo programs were Finish, 1992, Wahnsinn, 1995, Freedom West, 1998, and Stimmen, 2009, and others. In 1999, the University of the Arts in Berlin established a visiting scholarship for cabaret and Rogler was selected to hold this position. Rogler rose to prominence with several guest appearances on the Windscreen Wipers and other TV and radio shows. In 1992 he produced and starred in a 6-episode series entitled Mr. Rogler and Mr. Bussy alongside Johann Bussy. In 2006, Rogler became the third permanent member of the Windscreen Wipers replacing George Schramm. After 2 years he departed the cast again in 2008. Rogler's comedic style is described as old-school cabaret and distinctly different from those of comedians. For the WDR he hosted Midnight Peaks from 1988 to 1992. Also from 1992 he hosted Night Strike on the First and then from 1997 Rogler's Freedom on 3sat. His birthdate is September 19, 1949 in West Germany. Unfortunately he died in August 2024, at the age of 74. No cause of death was mentioned. Rajko Maksimović. He was a Serbian composer, writer, and music pedagogue. He composed numerous vocal instrumental, orchestral, chamber, choral, and soloist works, as well as pieces devoted to children. Among his most significant compositions are, Vocal Instrumental When the Living Envied the Dead, 1963. During his studies at the Belgrade Music Academy and in accordance with the Department of Composition and Orchestration curriculum requirements, he composed works of a prevalent neoclassical provenance. He also composed the Book of Six Madrigals Chants Out of the Darkness, 1975. He also authored a memoirist autobiographical trilogy entitled That's the Way It Was, 1988. His birth date is July 27, 1935. He died in Belgrade on August 2024, at the age of 89. Dink Widenhouse. He was an American NASCAR Grand National Series driver. Widenhouse began racing at the age of 15 when his brother built a dirt track near Concord, North Carolina. Dink's first car was a '37 Ford Coach with what would become his trademark, B-29 emblem on the side. From the age of 22 to the age of 24, Widenhouse competed in 2,101.9 miles, 3,382.7 kilometers, and 3,097 laps of racing. While he never won a race, he managed to gain a pole position at the 1955 running of the Wilkes County 160, finishing 19th in that race. Widenhouse had a successful racing career at the Charlotte Fairgrounds, Midland, Concord, Myrtle Beach and Columbia, South Carolina and Danville, Virginia. Part of his success stemmed from his great mechanic, Greaseball Young. His racing career came to an end in the 1960s when paved tracks became the norm. Widenhouse always preferred dirt and did not like racing on pavement. During his racing career, he won nearly 200 races, with his record including 21 wins in one season. He was known as the Preacher because he never raced on Sunday. Widenhouse's career earnings were $3,225 US, $36,142.11 when adjusted for inflation. His only last place finish came at an untitled 1955 race at Southern State Fairgrounds in Charlotte, North Carolina. His birth date is January 1, 1932. He died on August 2024, at the age of 92, died from unknown causes. Alexander Goehr. He was a German-born English composer and academic. Alexander Goehr was born on August 10, 1932 in Berlin, and his family moved to Britain when he was only a few months old. In the early 1960s Goehr worked for the BBC as broadcaster and producer. He founded the Wardour Castle Summer School in Wiltshire with Peter Maxwell Davies and Harrison Birtwistle in 1964, and most importantly, the beginning of Goehr's preoccupation with opera and music theatre. In 1967 he founded the Music Theatre Ensemble, and in 1971 he completed a three-part cycle for music theatre, Triptych, made up of three works, Naboth's Vineyard, 1968, and Shadowplay, 1970, were both explicitly written for music theatre ensemble, while the later sonata about Jerusalem, 1971, was commissioned by Testimonium, Jerusalem and performed by the Israel Chamber Orchestra and Gary Bertini. The end of the 60s also saw the beginning of a string of prestigious academic appointments for Goehr. In 1971 he was appointed West Riding Professor of Music at the University of Leeds. Goehr left Leeds in 1976 when he was appointed Professor of Music at Cambridge University, where he taught until his retirement in 1999. In 2004 Goehr was awarded an honorary doctorate of music from Plymouth University. He was born on August 10, 1932. He died on August 2024, at the age of 92, no cause of death was given. Don Wert. He was an American professional baseball player. He played in Major League Baseball from 1963 to 1971 as a third baseman, most prominently as a member of the Detroit Tigers, where he was an all-star player and was a member of the 1968 World Series winning team. Although he was overshadowed by his contemporary, Hall of Fame third baseman Brooks Robinson, Wert earned a reputation as one of the best fielding third basemen in Major League Baseball. He played his final season with the Washington Senators in 1971. In 1965, Wert played all 162 games for the Tigers and led All-American League third baseman with a .976 fielding percentage, marking the only year in the 1960s that a third baseman other than Brooks Robinson had led the league in fielding. With his performance in 1965, Wert was selected for the first annual Tiger of the Year by the Detroit chapter of the Baseball Writers Association of America, and also finished number 10 in the American League Most Valuable Player voting. Despite his low average, Wert was selected to the roster of the 1968 American League All-Star Team by American League manager Dick Williams and doubled off Tom Seaver in the 8th inning, but was stranded in a 1-0 loss. Over 9 seasons in the major leagues, Wert played in 1,100 games and had a .242 batting average, 929 hits, 417 runs scored, 389 walks, 366 runs batted in, 129 doubles, and 77 home runs. His birth date is July 29, 1938. He died at his Strasbourg home on August 25, at the age of 86. He had been in failing health in his waning years following a series of strokes. Benji Radach. He was an American professional mixed martial artist who competed in the middleweight division of Bellator MMA. A professional competitor from 2001, Radach also competed for the UFC, the WEC, Strikeforce, and the Los Angeles Anacondas of the IFL. Radach made his professional MMA debut in 2001 and compiled an undefeated record of 10-0 before being signed by the UFC to compete as a welterweight. Radach made his UFC debut against Steve Berger at UFC 37 on May 10, 2002. Radach originally was declared the winner via TKO 27 seconds into the first round, but the decision was later overturned when replays showed that Radach had the fence in his hand as he finished the final blows that ended the fight via TKO. Radach next fought against Nick Serra on June 22, 2002, at UFC 37.5. Radach won via unanimous decision. He made his first appearance against Ryan McGivern on February 2, 2007, at IFL, Houston. Radach won via TKO in the second round. Radach made his next appearance against Gerald Harris at the IFL 2007 semifinals on August 2, 2007. Radach next fought Brent Boparlant at the IFL World Grand Prix semifinals on November 3, 2007, and won via knockout in the first round. Radach has suffered many injuries throughout his career, including a broken jaw, a herniated disc, neck surgery, ACL replacement, and a broken collarbone, amongst others. Radach would suffer another problem in February 2010 when he caught a staph infection after surgery on a torn pectoral muscle that was suffered in training. His birth date is April 5, 1979. He died on 26 August, he was 45 years old. No cause of death was revealed. Sid Eudy. He was an American professional wrestler and minor league softball enthusiast. He was best known for his tenures in the World Wrestling Federation and World Championship Wrestling, under the ring name Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, and Psycho Sid. Eudy was a six-time world champion, having won the WWF Championship twice, the WCW World Heavyweight Championship twice, and the USWA Unified World Heavyweight Championship twice. In addition to world title success, Eudy held the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship once, among other accolades. During his tenures with the WWF and WCW, Eudy headlined multiple pay-per-views for both organizations, main eventing WrestleMania 8 and WrestleMania 13 in 1992 and 1997 respectively, as well as Starrcade in 2000. He also competed in New Japan Pro Wrestling, NJPW, where he challenged Tatsumi Fujinami for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship under the name Vicious Warrior, but was unable to win the title. He made his televised debut in WCW by defeating Dwayne Bruce on the June 17, 1989 episode of Pro. Eudy made his WWF debut in an untelevised segment attacking the Mountie following Montie's open offer. He defeated Ted DiBiase in his first WWF match at a non-televised event in Calgary. Eudy was a fan of softball. During his time off from wrestling, he briefly played softball between 1997 and 1999. He was born on December 1960. He died on August 26. Eudy's son Goehr announced via his Facebook page that he had died at 63 years of age from cancer.